Hey guys, my name is xOctoManx, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to create candle particles with the Unity Shuriken system. What we are going to use is to create those candle particles is at first we are going to use Graphicsgale to create the flame animation or the base of the flame animation. Then we are going to hop over to Inkscape and create that flames. So let's get started. At first we should know how a flame is going to work or how it is going to look, and we want to create that kind of animation. So let me start with a new 64 by 64 pixel sized canvas in Graphicsgale. Let's go and zoom in with the magnifier glass, and what we can do is right now we just take the normal pencil tool and choose a black color like this. So now we are able to, in the first frame, to work into what we are after basically. So a flame is, as you may have seen just a second ago, can look different, but what we will do is kind of smooth and soft and slow candle flame. You can always go over and create any other flames of any type you want. We want to create at least 8 to 10 frames. I believe it's going to be that's the minimum for good frames. Okay, so let's get started. We just need to have some roundish top over here and keep it at the center. Of course, we also want some roundish part in here. I'm going to use a pen here, so I'm not using my mouse. I have a graphics tablet for this, so it's going to be easier. So if you have this one, make use of it. So in that frame settings, you might want to, you should select transparent color to be white, and we can change the speed of the delay to 5, and that's it for that frame. What we do now is we duplicate that frame to the right, so we press on that small arrow down, or showing down, and then duplicate into right. Make sure that the settings are all the same and also transparent color is selected, and then we press OK. What we want to do in this frame is we want to shift it to the right or to the left. We can also go over and go to both of that frames and center that particle a bit, but basically it doesn't really matter since we just have space everywhere we want. Also in Inkscape we have a lot of possibilities to fix everything. So let's turn the flame to the right at first. It's going to be very easy. The bottom is going to be currently at the same. We just go over and take the upper part. And just to choose 2 or 3 pixels, we are going to paint this one to the right. Maybe like this. Then we go over to the palette, press on that small X over here. So we have white selected. And now we delete everything what we don't need on the left side. So also we go inside of that flame and delete all that stuff we don't need there. Sorry. Though again we go over and duplicate the next one to the right. So the one we just had is duplicated to the right again. And so now we can go over and shrink this or make it a bit slim or taller, however we want. And just go over and choose another 2 or 3 pixels, and maybe let's trim that in height and turn this a bit more to the right, just a bit. Nothing too fancy, nothing too big, no big steps, just 2 or 3 pixels are pretty much enough for this one. If that is not looking cool for you, make sure that you fix it to your needs, of course. Again, what we want to do now is, since I think okay, that's pretty much the stuff I want, I can always go and make it a bit nicer here. Once we are done with that, don't be too precise. We will do the precise stuff later on in Inkscape. What we do is we go to the second frame and select the arrow again and duplicate this to the right again. Press OK. And now we drag this one onto the last one we just painted. Now you can see it's kind of flamish already, just in the right direction, but we also want the stuff to the left direction. So we go to the first frame, or select this one, duplicate to the right once again, press OK, and drag this one to the last. So we have the big one, the little bit to the right, the more right, and we go back. So we have one, the first 5 frames basically with one movement to the right and till or back to the first one. So now we go from this part to the left. So we again duplicate this one and duplicate this into the right, of course, too. And now we drag or paint the flame to the left direction. So we start here, maybe 2 or 3 pixels once again. Can make it a bit more slim, maybe here just 1 pixel. And delete the stuff from the right side. Don't forget, at first we don't care about the bottom. We will do that after we have done all the frames, so we just need it. Okay, so now we turn this a bit to the left, then next go duplicate into the right direction once again, go over, paint some more frames to the left, maybe at this part a bit more, and again go get rid of the right side and the inner part over here. And do it like this. So you can also go over and close everything and fill in color, but not right now. Just make sure that the flame looks pretty cool. And now we're at the point we can go over and create more stuff, maybe one more frame. Or we can go over and just go back, so we would have 9 frames, or we would do one more and have one more frame then. So I believe I do that. So gonna go and duplicate to the right once again. Gonna make just a little bit, just a small one, also decreasing the height a bit, and again 1 pixel to the left. So again erase the inner part in here and go from there and erase the outer part. Maybe like this. So now we need to go back. That means we need to copy that 2 frames now. So at first this one, go duplicate to the right and drag this one over to that part. Also we want to copy this one. Go duplicate into the right once again and drag this over to that. So now we should have a smooth movement of a flame from the left to the right. And we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 frames. So 10 frames is pretty good. So we can later on use a text, a sheet of 5 by 5, so a 5 by 2 basically, or we can just create a 10 by 1 frame or texture sheet. Okay, for this one I believe it's going to be okay. So now I want to go to the bottom part in here. So when the flame is going to lean to the right, we just lean that part a bit to the right too. So it looks like there's some movement around. We can also go a bit down in size if our flame is going to be a bit smaller in here. Okay, this turns maybe a bit too. Nothing fancy in here. just a bit. Always check your animation and see if it is going to look okay. You can always go in again and add more details, but not in that animation phase, because it's basically it's just to see how the animations can look, and in Inkscape we will go over and define more details in if there is need for it. So this texture sheet we're just creating here is only for the animation itself, but not has not any does not have any graphical issues or stuff. Okay, so when you have something like that, as you can see in the preview window over here, this is pretty fine. What we go and do now is we go to File, Export, and what you want to do is we want to create a combined image. I'm going to use, or currently use, Graphicsgale in its free edition, so make sure you download it. And we don't want multiple files, we want a combined image. What we can say is we take all 10 images and create one column per image, so it would be a stripe like this one, as you can see in here in the frame window. Or we can just say we want to have 5 columns, so we would have the first frames in the first line and the second 5 frames would be in the second line. So we can just say 5 columns, say OK, and now I can go over and I don't know, I just call this one 5x2 candle flame PNG. Make sure you are using PNGs because we want to use alpha channel, and select the option with alpha channel and go and save this one. Now we can go over to Inkscape. Basically what you don't need is that Graphicsgale can be closed right now. You don't need this for that part anymore. We're gonna go over and create a new sheet for now. I can just go over and, I don't know, minimize the old one. What I want to do is I want to go and open the last one we just created. In this case it's 5x2 candle flame, what we just created, and I want to make sure that I embed that one into the document. There will be open a new one, and now you can see that is the texture sheet we just created. So now for the tricky part, at first we want to open the layer manager, so we create a new empty layer and we call this one just, I don't know, animation or whatever. It's just the sheet which has to be or has to go into that. So go and select everything. That means you need to go from the outside of the whole sheet. Now what we want to do is we press Ctrl X for cut this one off, select the animation or level or the animation layer. I want to go to edit and then say insert at original position. And then we have that one in the animation layer right now, and we can disable or enable it. We also are able to lock that layer. Now we go over and create a new one, a new layer, and we just call this one flame. Again, make sure that it is visible and it's not locked in here. So let's go over and use our pen tool, which is that one over here, so we can create basic curves and everything we need. And now it's going to be just painting around the outer shape and the inner shape to actually form the flames. So with the first point selected, I can just choose any midpoint in here and drag, hold and drag until I have a nice shape. It's going to be, or might be, a bit hard to see. So when you're at the bottom point over here, you might want to hold down Shift and select any color you can see better. In my case, I just use the red one. So now I can complete the inner part in here just by holding down, dragging until it fits my needs. Pretty cool, pretty easy. Now what you can do is you can use the color palette and choose a very high or very light yellow. Maybe like this one or this one. I choose the FFEEAA color, which is the second one in here. You can always go over and use any one. We need a pretty bright yellow color for this one. So, and the outer color will currently just stay red. Okay, so again, oops, we go over and create a new one for the second frame basically. So we do everything the same as we have done before. Just drag around everything. Make sure you choose red to see it a bit better. And if you are unhappy with that, you can always use the second tool in the line. Oh, my mouse battery is out. Give me a second. There we go. So you can always go and take the handles and make it fit better to our needs. So don't be too precise again. Just make sure that it is that the start and the end points are okay, and the flame is, or the shape is basically fitting the one we just created in Graphicsgale. Okay, next frame. Let's go and do and create all of that frames right now. All we need, again, I'm gonna choose red, go here, go there, go there. Pretty good. Fill it with a yellow color again. Again, drag and hold. Okay, shift, click red. And there we go. I'm gonna go to that. To end the line, don't forget you can always go over and right click, so you will automatically end the line. Make sure again you have all that flames yellowish in the middle. And now we have the first 5 ready, and we will go over and complete the rest. So again, that basic curve tool. Change the color to red so we see it better with clicking shift. Okay. To make sure that you have the selected line which you are going to complete, make sure that you hit the last or the first anchor point, or to close the line completely, and also to get the right color, of course. Okay, so it's slightly leaning to the right in here. Follow the shape. Again, shift, red, or any color you like. And you can always go in here and change everything to your needs again. Okay, 3 more frames. Oh, don't forget to fill in the yellow color again. This one too. Use the select tool to get the right one selected. And fit everything in here. Okay, 2 more. And the last one. And that's it. So now fill everything with yellow once again. Use the selector tool on the top. Make everything yellow. Well, at least for now. What we want to do is right now is we want to select all of them. Hold Shift and select no color in the color palette. So we only have that yellow parts in here. The next thing is we can get rid of animation and we can, so we only have that flame parts. So now the not so hard to achieve part coming next. Select all of them. Press Ctrl D to duplicate them on the spot. What we want to do is we want to change all of their color to white. So make sure you select white. Also, we want all of them to be later on a bit blurry. So what we need to do is, oh, that was wrong. Sorry, again, I'm gonna duplicate them and turn them, oh. Again, gonna duplicate and turn them to yellow. What you need to do is you need to need that object fill tab in here. So you have fill, border stuff, and so on. What we need to do is we just need the fill button, and here is blur. We want to blur the center point, or basically all the white parts by 10. No, not by 10. We just use, oh, it's a bit laggy. We will use 5. Yeah, that's correct. So what we want to do is we want to take all of them separately right now and just shrink them up, down a bit. So hold down Shift to make it from the center and shrink all of that white blurry things down. So you have still a sharp border, or can see still a sharp border, and you will fill the center with white. Now we go over and change a bit again on that outer rim or outer shades. So use the second one so you can see all the points. We can just drag them up a bit if they are in any way, as you can see, overlapping in the bottom. We don't need them there, but and we don't need to go over and fix that, but I just do that. So I take all 3 of them and just make sure that I drag them up at least a bit, so they're not in the way, or not, yeah, not being too much in the bottom. We don't see much of them later on anyways, but yeah, just for competition, make sure they are not in the way or not too overwhelming at that part. Okay, so we have the bases done. If you are happy with that, yeah, you can always go over and fix stuff again, as I do here. If you're happy with your result, the next part is going to be pretty simple too. We create a new shape, so we take the pencil tool or pen tool in here. I don't know how is this one called, with a Bezier curve. What we do is we start at the first frame, basically in the corner in here. Gonna create a nice one for this. And this is going to look like that. Make sure it's black for now, and hold down Shift and get rid of the border color. And this one is going to be a bright yellow, maybe the third one, FFDDD5. Also make sure that you blur this one by 10. So what we have is now the inner part for the flame. Again, you can always go in and push that flame part in any direction you want. Also, you can make it bigger like this or smaller like this. And when you are happy with that, you can again go in, take this one and duplicate this on the spot and drag this one just over to the next one. So now again, with that duplication of that part, we can always copy all that things in here, like so. Again, select the tool, Control D for copy, and just drag this over to the next flame. Make sure that the anchor points or the outer points are correct, or at least looking correct, or are at the same position or the needed position. Again, go to the next one, duplicate. This is going to be a bit more spiky, so maybe like this. Lean it a bit to the right, and the next one again, duplicate, Control D. Okay, so this can be a bit more spiky at that part, maybe this is a bit more down, so we have a slight variation later on our flames. Okay, duplicating this one right now, and drag this one in here. As you can see, it's leaning to the left, so we go behind that or after that one. Now again, take that, duplicate, and it's going to lean a bit more into the left, as you can see. There we go. Don't go too deep with that. Duplicate again and put this one over here. Okay, and duplicate this one again. Gonna place this there. Maybe make something a bit different here to like this. And the last one, duplicate again and push this one a bit back as it has to be, maybe like so. Okay, so now the basics of the flames are done. Now I want to make sure that I have something down there. The problem with that, as I just see in here, is there might be, there will be a problem with that, how shall I say, with the southern part in here, so we need to take care of that. So maybe in Graphicsgale it's better to use a 10 column in except you know what you're doing and you have some or enough space to the bottom or to the top, because if I would go over and create a help line in here, maybe like, I don't know, this, you can see I need to take care that I don't go into the next particle, otherwise I would make this one, or it would be seen. Let's see, what height do we have? We should have 128. So when we put this one to 46, we need to take care that we don't go under that. So not into the bottom part. Same here, we don't want to go too deep. Okay, so what we can do right now is we can create that bluish part, which is over a lot of other frames or flames, basically, where the heat is going to stuck or is going to stock. So what we can do is, again, we create a small part in here. Gonna make it, I don't know, blue, maybe like this. And we blur this one by, I don't know, 5, and make its transparency to be 50%, or maybe less, maybe 20 or 30. Again, go over and fix the shapes until they fit your needs. So we have some small heat visibility. Well, maybe I blur this out a bit more, maybe 20. Yeah, that's okay. Gonna go and basically what I can do is I can duplicate this for every other frame. So what I want to do is I want to create another one for the left direction. So duplicate for now. Gonna select that and just go over here and change this horizontal, and maybe drag this one over to that point. So this is going to be inside the other frame. So it's not going to be easy to fit that in. So the best one again is go and take make sure that you have a space down here. I just made that error or problem right now by myself. Make sure that you leave under that a lot of space to fiddle around later on. I'm sorry for that. Okay, so but still, let's get and continue. Basically what I do is I just duplicate those, now holding shift and use the arrow keys, or you can just without shift and just duplicate that and move that parts to the left. So with just moving them left and right, we will go over and have any weird wobbling around. Gonna duplicate this again, go a bit down here. Okay, and from that point just duplicate that to the right, or to the left in this case. Duplicate again and duplicate again. And there we go. So now we could also go over and add a small transition, or basically a for the middle point in here there will be still color. So again, the problem is that we cannot go over or cannot go down at that point. What I want to do is, again, I make sure that I don't interfere with that. And in here I just want to have that lightish color once again. I'm gonna create a gradient for this one. So select the gradient tool over there. And what you want to do is you want to have a linear fill, and you want to drag the fill from the bottom to the, or from the top to the bottom. Also, when you select this one, make sure that you go under the other parts in here, so it will not be you can, it's kind of using layers. So again, I duplicate this one, place that at the right spot, make sure that I go under the other parts in here so we don't have that hard line. Duplicate this again, move this one over, move it down 3 times in my case. Again, 1, 2, 3, duplicate, place it where it has to be, 1, 2, 3, then I duplicate, make sure it fits in here too, 1, 2, 3, duplicate, 1, 2, 3, duplicate, 1, 2, 3, duplicate, 1, 2, 3, and duplicate again, and 1, 2, 3. Okay, and that's our texture sheet. Again, make sure that you have enough space. I'm sorry for this. And what I do right now is I could go over and select all of them and export them, but that would just ruin our work. What I want to do is at first leave it as it is. What I go over is I say export bitmap, gonna choose my data, Now I am in my candle flame folder. And what I do is I just create another candle test 2. You can call this one candle sheet, whatever, I don't know. Make sure you have a high enough DPI depending on the size you want to export. So in height and in width. So you can always go over and change all that values, and the DPI will automatically calculate it. And make sure that you export the page, not just a selection. And then we'll go over and press export, and we can go and return to Unity to create the particle system itself. And of course the material for the use of that flame. So make sure that you wait until your textures are going to be loaded. I'm going to get rid of my ones in here. I just created some candles with a 3D modeling tool, nothing special in here. You can use everything you want, Blender, Maya, 3ds Max, I don't know, I believe what is it called, Cinema 4D, I believe. Yeah, so create your own candles. If you don't have any candles, buy them, or just create some cylinders to make use of that. Okay, so let's create an empty game object, and this is going to be our placeholder for all that particles, and I call them fx.candlefire. And since I have the candlefire already, I just call this one candle. So under that, as a children, I create a particle system, of course, which is going to show or to create particles in the wrong direction. What I want to do is I go to rotate in the X and say minus 90 on the X-axis in the rotation. So it's going to be up. Basically, it doesn't really matter, but for me, I just think it's cool. What I want to do is I go to shape and just deselect this. I go to emission and change this one to 1. The maximum particles I want on the screen is 1, 2. And I want to set the speed to 0. So it's just at that position wherever it is currently. We will go and change the direction later on anyways. Now let's go to our materials folder and let's create a new material. I'm gonna go over here and say create material, and I just name this one as what it is, candle particle maybe. If you have any typos, you can always press F2 and rename this one. Particle. There we go. And now I go over into the albedo channel in this thing there, and I select the 5x2 candle flame and put this one in. No, it's the wrong one. I didn't want that. It is called candle test 02. Okay, what I want to make sure is that I go to shader particles, and I can always go over and use the alpha blended shader for this one, which is going to be the best at this position. You can also go into particles of the mobile and use the alpha blended in here. It doesn't really matter, I believe. Mobile might be a bit more performance wise, a bit more nice, I believe. Okay, so now let's go over to our render settings in the particle system itself. What I want to do is I want to use a vertical billboard. Of course, I also want to use a textured sheet animation. We'll go into that in just a second. In the renderer, I go over and take the material we just created, which is candle particle. Now you can see nothing happens because, yeah, the particles are not tiled correctly. So what we have in the x-axis are 5, and in the y-axis are 2. So now you can see we already have a candle flame. I believe there is one frame does not have the center. Oh yeah, that's it. But for now I just keep it as it is. If you have missed anything in the center, then you might go in, I believe it's this one, and place it where it has to be. I'm gonna export this pretty quick once again. Bitmap export, just export over that. Yeah, that's not what I wanted. Because I wanted to have the page. Yeah, then it's right. Go back to Unity, let it update. This can always happen. Yeah, that path texture is going to be deleted by me later on. Okay, so now we have a complete our complete particle in here. Now it's going to be our now we have to go and change its size to fit our candles. And if your candles are very small, you might want to check or test in. You want to make sure that your particle system is not too small. You will see that once you're working around with the camera. So it might look in the game scene a bit bigger than it is actually in the camera. That's what I wanted to say. So now we just can place all our flames on any of that. Can also use the first one in here pretty quick. Okay, so yeah, use the FX candle, the empty game object, for dragging them around. As you can see, when I zoom in with the camera, the candle size seemed to be reduced. This normally happens again when I go back far away from that. You can also see the candle does not seem to fit everything in here. Okay, since it's looking too big at that point, once again, you can always go into the particle system itself and scale this up and down and left and right and make it thinner or bigger, however you want. And yeah, find the point how you want this one to look. As you can also see in the preview in here, I'm gonna try to make this visible, that our problem still is that cut it up part in here, because I just forgot to implement this. And again, I'm sorry for this. Make it bigger and then you can use a circle gradient instead, or just use a one row with 10 columns, depending on the how much candle parts you have. Okay, so the first one is going to be almost done, but as you can see, it's pretty slow and does not look really candle-ish. What we want to do is we can add cycles to our sprite sheet or texture sheet animation. If you are using 2 cycles, you can see it already starts moving a bit faster. And of course, it does not look that ploppy anymore. We can also go in and use a 3 maybe. And the more we put in, like 4, it's going to be okay. The more we are putting in, the faster the animation will be. So what we can do is we can create a prefab out of this one right now. Gonna place this one maybe in here. There we go. And now you can use variations of all of that things, of that candle. We can go over and duplicate this one and place this onto all our other candles too, like so. I'm gonna duplicate this once again. Even if you don't see it, it will be there in just a second. Make sure it is somewhere in where it has to be. And once we are going to clicking the particle system itself, it should be visible too. As you can see, not 100% at the right spot. Maybe like this. Gonna push that around a bit until we are at the right position. make sure that you look more to the camera than into the viewpoint. Otherwise you might not hit the right one and don't get the right spot. Okay, same for the other already copied panel or candle. Yeah, if you cannot see this properly, make sure that your candle is going to be visible more if you have something like I have. What you have seen right now, they're popping up. What we want to do is we want to pre-warm that and apply the changes, so when we are starting our scene the flames will be already on. Now we want to have a variation in our flames. What we can do is we can take any separated particle system, go to texture sheet animation, and we can set the flow, the frame over time from 0 to 10 or from 10 to 0. So we just change this like that. So it will start at the back, and then you can see it is varying, or has a variation to all that other frames. You can also go over and test everything else with all that flames and that curves. You might will get some interesting results with that. So you will have some slowdowns in the middle and have some speed ups everywhere. So, or here it starts slow and will have a normal middle and then goes and slow down once again. So it starts faster, have normal speed, then slows down. Or you can do it different or backwards or whatever. You can always also go in and change that curves differently, so they will do everything, and you can test around with all of that stuff to your needs and to have some more variations in the flames itself, and can save everything as a prefab as you want. So yeah, that's pretty much it I wanted to cover. My particle system, again, I'm gonna show you this one. It looks like that. So can I go and zoom in there? Well, no, not really. Gonna paste it, place this a bit there. As you can see, in this one I have a circle instead of that cut it off part in here. So make sure you are precise and make use of the full flame, of course. And that's it. That's how you can create some kind of realistic flame particles for a candle. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions about that, feel free to write me a comment in the comments down below, or ask me a private message. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of that or other tutorials in the future. And I believe I will make sure that I go and upload this one into the Unity Asset Store, so you can get this one for maybe a small fee, and then you can test around with all that stuff. Okay, so thanks for watching and see you in the next tutorial. Bye bye.